Cheating, also known as infidelity, is when a person in a monogamous romantic relationship has an emotional or sexual relationship with someone else without their partner's consent. Infidelity, however, doesn't have a one-size-fits-all definition. What one couple could consider cheating might be a healthy part of another couple's relationship. For example, is an emotional connection with someone without physical intimacy cheating? What about an online relationship? What if a couple practices ethical non-monogamy? Couples need to define for themselves what constitutes infidelity in the context of their relationship. In today's video, we will be talking about how you can spot a cheater. Without further ado, let's begin. They're reluctant to make any big joint purchases. Commitments like buying a house or a car indicate that the other person is in the relationship for the long run, says licensed family therapist David Clough, and author of You Are Not Crazy: Letters from Your Therapist. And while it's possible that your partner's hesitancy is just due to financial concerns, it can also be a tip-off that they're cheating, especially if this wasn't an issue in the past. They forgot to mention a night out. People who are cheating tend to engage in sins of omission, Durvasula says. They operate on a need-to-know basis, which is not healthy for a relationship. Although neglecting to mention that time they grabbed drinks with coworkers could be completely innocuous, maybe happy hour just wasn't that memorable. If the behavior persists, it could reflect general dishonesty, signs you are in a loveless marriage. That's definitely more concerning, according to Durvasula. They know that messages from the other person can come at any time, she says. So if someone who's always relied on the bathroom stash of magazines to get them through their potty time suddenly starts relying on their phone, it might be worth keeping an eye on. And they're constantly texting. Again, a change of behavior is key here. Our minds are weird to look for inconsistencies. It helps protect us from something unexpected happening. If your partner's actions start changing, then it might be a sign of infidelity. It can also be that their friends are having a tough time, or they're wrapped up in work. But if it feels off to you, ask what's going on. The way they respond can be telling. When you talk, they rock back and forth. By now, you two should be pretty comfortable chatting. But when your cohort is hiding something, look for unusual and often unconscious habits, suggests body language expert Lillian Glass, PhD. Rocking back and forth shows they are nervous around you, she says. You're getting a lot of gifts. Cheaters do this to cover the stench of guilt, Durvasula says. Take note if your partner also seems to be peppier when they're piling on the presents. People are sometimes in a better mood than usual when they cheat, Durvasula says. Their cheery countenance, coupled with the need to please and throw a partner off the track, can result in a generous change of behavior. They've changed their underwear's appearance too. If you've noticed a switch from your husband's usual ratty boxers to briefs, or your wife is sporting sexy lingerie for the first time in years, it's indeed reason to wonder, says Susan Trombetti, matchmaker and CEO of Exclusive Matchmaking. We all have that bra that we don't want anyone to see, and briefs with holes in them, she says. When you change it up, that might mean something when combined with a few of these other signs. You wonder where they got that trick in the bed. This could be another instance in which your partner might have done some sexy research on good foreplay and just wants to spice things up for you. In other instances, new sexual techniques can signal the fact that they've picked it up from someone else. Other times, Trombetti says, a change in frequency, meaning more or less sex, can clue you in. They overshare. You've asked how the office party was. They rattled off the entire guest list, all the hors d'oeuvres that were served, and when, and a minute-by-minute play of what went down. That's TMI. Liars talk too much, Durvasula says. When you're telling the truth, you tend to be terse because it comes easily. Cheaters will often create long tales about strange stories and places they have been that day to act as an alibi. or they stop filling you in on details altogether. Regularly hearing that their day was fine when you used to get into minutia is enough to raise an eyebrow. With cheaters, the most interesting aspect of their day may relate to their new flirtation, Dervasula says. This can be more devastating than sexual infidelity, as it implies the intimacy of day-to-day life is now being shared with someone new. Chloe also calls it a concern, since having an open exchange of information helps people feel more secure in their relationships. They're always on social media. This is most notable when they regularly like people's posts that you've never heard of. Talk with your partner about the other people you interact with, Chloe says. Knowing this can help build a strong sense of security. They suddenly develop different tastes in music or hobbies. Maybe it's bungee jumping, and they have a fear of heights, or suddenly they take up listening to classical music when it's always been heavy metal, Trombetti says. Of course, they could just be expanding their horizons, but in Trombetti's experience, it may be because they are trying to impress the new person by matching their likes and dislikes. They also absorb every detail because they're crazy about the person they're cheating with and in that stage of infatuation, Trombetti adds. The ATM has been getting a lot of action. Credit cards are easy to trace. Cash isn't, Dervasula says. If they used to be obsessed with racking up rewards points and have now switched to paper, it's worth asking about. You just got that gut feeling. This doesn't pertain to people who are often jealous in general, and thus prone to suspicion when there's little cause for it. But in Trombetti's experience with clients, when you know, you usually know. It's not necessarily a psychic connection, but rather nonverbal cues that you're picking up, she says. Of course, there could always be a simple explanation for a switch in your partner's demeanor that has little to do with cheating. But if these actions feel familiar and you have no idea why, it's time to ask the tough questions. Hopefully, there's a good reason why they're acting, well, shady. Either way, you have a right to know. So guys, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. For more interesting content, give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more awesome content. Have a nice day, and I will see you in the next video.